Alrighty. I see someone is here. Hello, I'm taking myself another drink of water. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, so if you do say something, I will say hi back. I hope everything is going good with you, whoever you are. I got to go play out in the snow for a little bit today. And that was always... I don't know what it is about me, but, well, normal people get their vitamin D boost and their excitement from snow, from sunny days, and I get it from snow. I almost, oh, what's going on, Rhode Island? I'll call it, I don't know if you prefer Rhode Island RI or naturalist, so sorry if I kind of go back and forth. But yeah, I almost missed this stream. I spent the last 5 minutes scrambling because I was literally getting ready to go out again, but I had to try to get all the stuff off of my SD card. Hey, Wally, how are you doing? I hope everything's going awesome with you. So since Wally, you're here, you don't have to actively, but we were talking about bins, and I did want to say maybe next time we could do this and try the live together feature, but I had a video with my guest Troy, and that was from a gentleman in Michigan, Chance, who does Isopod Geeks. And we're going to be doing a project together that involves, let me see, Armadillidium maculatum. And this is one of the bins I have put together. And I do always, in videos, I don't know if I water my guys a little bit differently. I have my bins open almost, if not every day. It's very rare that I go more than 2 or 3 days without opening my bins, and I do a lot of, let me see if I can get it, drip watering. And I started doing it because when I first started doing this, it was all I had, and then I found this was super relaxing. So, but I also found it spreads moisture evenly, but I noticed where I water on the wood, they actually tend to, especially now the mankai that I'm seeing everywhere, have a tendency to congregate there. But I do a lot of this. I don't mist very often. There's a couple of my guys, like my canyon giants, I do that with, but because they're usually not on the surface. I don't mist my clowns at all. I apologize because I don't know how the quality is right now because I'm streaming, but I just want to kind of show a little bit of, I know that's not the perfect light. I apologize. This is where I always say how Russ from Aquarimax mentioned I'd go a little more into the leaf litter to include, I do put it down in, but I tended not to do it as much on the surface, and I love, so this is going to be, I'm debating if it's going to be the main bin. I'm going to be basically doing a breeding project where I'm going to have a main bin and then another bin where I'm going to be pulling them out and into. So there's that one. And actually, I could probably just slide that back. I'm looking out the window and I want to go right back out into the snow. How's the weather where you guys are at? I know Rhode Island, I think you mentioned you had snow, but not as much. I didn't know if you just meant recently now that I'm thinking about it, or if you meant just today. So this is the other bin. And what I'd love is feedback on if you're doing breeding. I have a larger bin and a smaller bin. That's awesome, Wally, because most people prefer just a dusting. I say I prefer to be in it. So this is the other bin, the bigger of the two. I didn't go too heavy in the substrate because zebras, oops, tend not to need it. And I do kind of increase the way they can use the substrate by, well, in these more specific bins, having more of the leaf litter to make it more loamy and fluffy and aerate it. And I almost always, like this piece of wood here, Wally, you and I had a conversation via comments about kind of just the difference in making a bin more built for breeding, vice for viewing and long-term things and so on, and to, things like that. These bins were a little difficult for me to make because they're a little bit more basic in terms of breeding. So normally, like this piece here comes up, this piece here, what I would normally do is have this piece probably go all the way down vertically through the substrate so that it's actually kind of you're not able to move them. If you notice a lot of my other bins, if I eventually go through them, maybe today I will, depending on our time, that they're a lot different from these in that regard. These were different for me to make because these, as I'm mentioning, are for that breeding project. So I wanted to have more access to all the wood. This is what I got from Stephanie Kreidler at Kreidler's Critters. So yeah, that's what this is. I'm going to move it up and try to give more of a all-around view. I apologize if it gets jumpy. So again, this is a bigger bin, a little more substrate, not much in terms of depth. This is the dry side. I, generally speaking, will keep, try not to drop this, the sticker on here until I get a little better acclimated, and I always keep that when I do on the moist side. The darkness just kind of reminds me of that being the moist side. So this is that other bin that I have set up, getting the bioactivity going. I don't see a lot of springtails in here, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do know I have them seeded, but I'm finally getting stable on my springtails. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to go through real quick. Sorry if this shakes because I have to check the comments on my phone like a caveman. I don't have everything set up yet, and plus I said okay, not anything that I missed. I wanted to have a device set up that I could look at without having to access my phone, and I have one, but I didn't get that set up in time. So these two bins are set up for, I don't know how this could look. Not the best, but just for a little bit of a comparison, these are the two bins set up for those Armadillidium maculatum. I don't know what I can actually do. Yeah. So the one on the left is what it would be the more stereotypical shoebox size bin, with the one on the right being a little bit larger. Mm-hmm. It's a 16 quart, 16, I believe. Yeah, 16 quart. So now that I have these, this was just, like I said, a little thing that I'm interested in getting some feedback on, because once I start putting those zebras in here, I want to make sure it's good. And I think I'm good on my zebras because, you know what, I'll bring my actual zebras out next because they're active, and I was very fortunate trying not to scream into the mic while I'm doing this. I was very fortunate to get a good variety from a local exotic reptile dealer. I'm gonna open this up in a second, and I'm gonna go actually step away and blow my nose because I don't want to blow your eardrums out. But in that time, you'll at least be able to look at these cool guys. You may see some chocolates, some champagne, some high whites. Hopefully one day in here you'll see high yellows. That day is not today. Oh, there's running that red rock right here. Let me get my thing. Here's one of my high whites. That's awesome. If you have any suggestions for a name, let me know. I have at least 3. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go into the other side of the apartment, blow my nose, and be back in about 5 seconds. Oh, she's on the move. Check. Yeah. And I do... God, now I have to cough. I apologize. Is there a mute thing on here? I'm sure there is. I'm just not familiar with it. I missed the comment. Boom, boom, boom. Z Yeti. It'll do. And that one was such a nice pattern. I'm wondering... I'm right now just using the streaming app on my mobile device. I'm not doing it through anything right now. If you have any recommendations on that, please let me know. And what I was going to say is I'm debating if I should take it down and bring you guys in there. I don't know how good or bad the quality comes through on the live stream. And also, one thing I was thinking about doing is if you guys happened to have seen my little macro video of the spinnies eating that potato, I would like to do a live stream about it. A macro live stream, I should say, but I'd have to do a lot more planning and setting up for that. I've done streaming before with OBS, but that was through my PC, as I mentioned. That's on the other side of the house. In fact, let's do some flipping in here. I haven't gone through here in a while, but I do want to point out, I haven't, since I've had these guys out, obviously I haven't watered them, but you can see, as I mentioned, this is actually the moist side. And the wood has this moisture on here. But I laugh because Wally, you mentioned, oh, let me see. Yeah, I'm very, 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 very basic on OBS and get very frustrated if it's anything but basic usage. But you had mentioned in one video, I watched quite a few of yours, but you mentioned in one video about Russ at Aquarimax and his leaf stem information, and you're not wrong. I do the same. I try to be aware along here, but I keep them, and I don't know how well this will see, it looks like it kind of is coming straight up. This is actually a leaf stem where the leaf goes all the way down to the bottom of the substrate. And I like that because if I water here, it'll essentially follow the leaf stem and go all the way down to the base of the substrate where I have the sphagnum moss. It's a good way to do that, and I've noticed quite a few of my little mankind munching on there. So in this is the moist side. The dry side, let me see. So this piece I can move fully. I don't like to because as you can see, I generally put substrate on here and they eat most of it. Um, but I may flip it, let you guys look under here. If you do want to do that, let me know. uh, I'm just looking at, I don't know if this guy's molting. He's got a weird gray to him. But yeah, if you want to look under the, okay, let's do that then. So, because I'm eager again, because I don't like to disturb these guys. I like to when I had to, but you know, you make sure they're good. You want to see mankind and check them and all that. I just very mindful of this one, but I'm going to do it. And then what I'm going to do, maybe I'll do it when I'm done, is what I do when I do that is spray it down and throw substrate on top of it. Because again, I love this piece. I didn't notice this. If you noticed, Wally, in the, I did a time lapse of the supreme geckos and the zebras, the little mankai pulls one of your mealworms in through a hole that I didn't know was here. So now I know there's a hole that goes in here, but there's also a, hey, what's going on, DEA? Right here, we can see this little green. There's another hole and I actually water here. So even though this is the dry side, I do water here so that when you see it, hopefully, and this is again, we'll check it. I'm assuming there's going to be just a little moisture spot on the underside of there. While for the most part, I don't put water under there at all. So let's do the little things first, and then I'll get the big boy. Let's flip. Oh. Oh, can you see that really? I don't know how well that's coming up. That really little one above the medium sized one. There's the small one on the bottom, the medium sized one hiding away, and then that really tiny one. Oh man, mankind just make me so happy. And there's Z Yeti. See her down there before I put it? Put her away. Little guy hanging out there. I have always, sometimes in some of my colonies, the springtails are more active than the isopods, and it frustrates me. I'll just do this one and then we'll go. But I do want to mention, I try to use my pointer so my big fat hands aren't in the way. But this piece, this piece, this piece are wild harvested from the same area that I gathered my spinny cornies. Basically, this is cork bark, and this again, I say I make this is an example of how I make my pieces a little more permanent. In that this piece I mentioned I don't move very often. This piece is a round piece that goes. It starts here, but it goes all the way to about here, and goes down vertically to the bottom of the substrate. So I water there every once in a while and see a lot of springtail action there, but obviously I can't mess with that. I could, but I'd have to basically destroy all the substrate around it. But let's do this big guy. I'm gonna get a little positioned because I don't do this very often. I'm gonna get very. Part of my anxiety is, like I say, I hate tipping stuff. I hate not the mess because it's obviously, but in fact, I got to move it this way because I want you to see both under it. So there we go under there. And right here is that green spot where I say I water, so it doesn't even look that moist. See the high white in there? If you said anything recently, I apologize. While I was kind of getting that set up, I missed it, and we'll have to go back. See a couple medium-sized guys, some little smaller juveniles. Ooh, a really small mankai right here at the top. I don't want to move it too far down because it will not be hanging over the bin. So as you can see here, this is dry. I don't water under this at all. Yeah, I was when I saw this piece, I knew I had to do something like this. And then I debated putting it under and burying it, but no, I wanted to be able to do something like this, and I'm hoping now. I'm not going to mess with it too much. What I would do normally is, can I swing that? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Wasn't planning on it, but I'm going to throw some. Give these guys a little meal while I have this up. Again, I don't put food under there very often, but I do want to promote. Well, in fact, I want to throw a little bit of leaf litter down there while I got this open. And I saw a couple comments come through, and I apologize. I will try to go back and address them. And if in a moment when I'm paying more attention to the comments, you can just retype them. But I apologize. I don't have eyes on that right now, and I hate not paying attention to you guys. Let's do a shrimp in here. This is, I see those leaves moving over there. That big guy's on it. I'm hesitant to put this in here because it could mold over, but this has a very healthy population of zebras and very awesome springtails, as I kind of mentioned. And I'm going to do the veggie in here. Get my little kids' play knives. Let's little tiniest zebra mankai right here. Holy cow. It's smaller than the head of this. If I didn't know any better, I would think it was a dwarf white and have a heart attack. But I know my Armadillidium mankai a little bit now. Ooh, I'm sorry. I hit that pretty good, but I want to get some leaves over there. These leaves come compliments of Russ at Aquarimax. Thank you, Russ. I'm going to flip that back over. I don't want to leave those. Actually, I want to put a little more as a way under. But while I'm doing this, just get two little handfuls. These leaves come compliments of Stephanie at Kreidler's Criddlers. I want to leave that so it goes under. Yeah. And I mean, springtails are having a good time. Let's get you guys back out of the light. I know you guys are going to be cranky here in a minute. You may want to move because I'm going to spray you down and throw some dirt on you. Actually, I'm going to avoid that side because I don't want to cover up my green hole. But there. So as I mentioned, I'll usually do this. Grab what little substrate I have. This is all of the substrate I'm working with, which is not much, but let's grab, I don't want to get too many leaves. I don't generally see, I'm going to move this one. I usually only see springtails under here. Let's see if that's true today. Oh, we got a little guy running around. And again, springtail galore. So far, we've seen two of my high whites, with one being under here and Z Yeti, which I can still see her under that leaf. I don't want to mess with her, but she's right under here. I can see her. And then, I guess, yeah, let's throw some more of that. I haven't fed them in a couple days since those potatoes actually, and I only left those in for about a day and a half. I wish you could see the texture of these rocks because they rock. They're very, especially this one here. Remove that. It's got actually a little hole right on top that I like to pack that Supreme Isopod shell in. There we go. I'm going to take one moment now because I'm going to throw some leaves in here, go through the comments. I apologize for not being mindful of that. Good, you guys haven't said too much. Hopefully it's because, like, I'm not looking, but I understand, naturalist. Take care. I don't know how long I plan on doing this because, like I say, originally I wanted to put a bin together, but I don't have this substrate. Regardless of that, I'm going to just say, take care. If I don't see you, I hope you're having an awesome time. What was I going to do? Those leaves? I don't know if you can see this one here, but I don't know if it's these bins. I sometimes feel like some of these guys have a tinge of yellow to them. I don't know if that's common, uncommon, um, or I don't know. I don't see it in all of them, but every once in a while, and it's the same ones I'll notice when they're going through that I could just swear that I see. Oh, I'm sorry, guy. I bonked you with that leaf. I apologize. Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna try this without messing everything up. But I'm actually, let me move this. Probably mess everything up. My hand's gonna be in the way. Hope you like my hand. How's that look? Um, I'm not sure how with the stream this actually comes out. I hope that looks good. Sharing is caring. Oh, we're gonna move really quick because I see I'm gonna get in the light. But there she is. Yeti. So I have clowns, spinny cornies, gestroy, canyon giants, or dothraki, which are Trichelopus rathkai. Do you guys have a preference to which you see next? I believe that's it. I actually have two spinny corny bins. Let's see if we can focus on. If you guys don't have a preference, I'll just pick one in a moment, but let me know if you guys do. There she is, hanging out, teasing me on that leaf. So I don't, Wally, but next year, or I should say it's next season, um, next spring or whatever when I go out, I am going to have so many of them. I passed on them because I only could focus really on my spinny cornies in terms of the resources that I had at the time. So I kept putting them back whenever I could find. If I found them, I didn't harvest them if I did. But I'm going to be neck deep in them. It's something I'm so looking forward to because I know obviously they'll enjoy most of the wood that I harvest for them because it's what they're already in out there. Hold on one second. I didn't see what someone said. I'm going to set this back up. Where's that chat now? Sorry. Is that Rathkai? Is that what you were talking about, Wally? I will say good luck because but I will. That's an interesting thing I want to talk about is they're very much like canyon giants. I know I call them canyon giants. They're giant canyon isopods, but canyon giants just sounds so much more cool than giant canyon isopod. But I'm noticing. I'm gonna move this one little bit. They're very similar in temperament to the canyon giants. Almost, in fact, I see them less and they seem to burrow more than the canyon giants, which I find fascinating. Move. You guys are a nice, big, heavy, moist bin. I like it. The Dothraki. I'm going to adjust some stuff here. Sorry, this will be shaking for a sec. I have seen these guys out maybe twice, and it's always literally right on the piece of food that if I coax them out. So I may have to do some flipping. These are confusing with Porcelio scaber because these guys are mildly sexually dimorphic from things that I've read, in that the female, you'll see some rust-colored guys that almost, in fact, look like lava, peace scaber lava, and there's a lot of crossover and similarity. Anything at all up top? No. Let's see then. And see, this part's tricky because even this piece goes through really deep. This is the only piece I can really move. So let's see. We have one there that I see, and I saw some Mankai, so keep an eye out. But as you can hopefully see, oh, that is such a nice color. Hope that's coming out good. And the others are just, I don't like the term, but just an ugly, plain, flat gray. I love it because I don't really have any kind of gray isopod. In fact, I do. Remember how I told you I spray it and do that with that? I don't know if you can see the substrate. Oh, I'll show you that again too, actually. But so that substrate's still hanging out on there. But, yep. Yeah, I see you in there, my guy. Not very well, but I see you. You can't hide from me. Well, you can. Technically, you are. But I don't know how well that guy came out in that little hole. Let's go play around in here a little bit. In fact, I think this piece, no. I thought I put a smaller piece somewhere. I don't rifle through these too much. It makes me feel comfortable, but still have their water thing there. Big chunk of substrate. Wonder if I should break this up. I'm disappointed in that I know, in fact, yeah, let's move that piece. I can move this one. See, I know there's a lot, but these guys are incredibly shy, so. There we go. There was a third one I saw run somewhere. Can't see. Is that a mankai? Looks like it. And there's a little Dothraki right there. Nice. Again, I apologize. I've not been really looking at the comments, but I will in a sec. I'm going to throw you guys back. Oh, here's actually one right here on this leaf, just below, just on top of my shadow. Nice. Right there. Not going to disturb it. So that was the Dothraki. And thank you, by the way, for that. I appreciate it. Throw this back. But I want to show again something that I try to incorporate what I find these guys out in, because I can catch these ones. These are wild caught. And these guys tend to, as I said in a recent video, frequent the wood that contacts the surface, and I wanted to promote that. So that's why that one long piece goes all the way down through like this to the bottom of the substrate, and I do keep it relatively moist. There's the piece of it that goes, like I said, from there to there, but there's also, you can't see it too good. This is that piece of cholla wood that goes from here to about here, all the way through the bottom of the substrate. It's resting just on top of a little bit of substrate. And I don't know if I have cholla wood to show as an example. I know I have some. I don't know if I have any readily to show. But cholla wood's pretty sweet. Ba-dum-bum. Yes! Victory! This is cholla wood. That's why I like it, as you can see. So again, this is a piece resting on the bottom that I have some of the sphagnum moss resting on. And with that, it's a very fascinating piece of wood, is it doesn't seem to mold over. This is a vivarium that I put together, and that you can see has a piece of cholla wood again going all the way down to the charcoal layer, and it's not molding over. It's very moist. I keep this thing sealed at all times. I don't water it. I don't do anything with it. And this is about 5 or 6 months old, and you can see the things just hanging out. That moss in there is wild, that wild stuff that I harvested. So there are some springtails in here. But yeah, that's one of my little side projects I do. I'm going to do maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm not in a rush. I may hang out longer than I say. I just don't want to be here too long. I tend to extend my welcome to a little bit too lengthy. So yeah, this is that piece of cholla wood, and I want to make sure this is going up too high. So yeah, they have this wood goes from the moist side through most of the dry side. This piece of cholla wood goes to about right here, and then again they have this piece of cork bark that's totally on the surface. So they have a lot of variety in that kind of wood that I offer them, and both, I mean, in terms of the type also, because there are 3 separate different types of wood. I'm gonna Doo-doo-doo. Oops. I think we're going to get surprised for this. Because these are my canyon giants I mentioned. And I wanted to talk about them for a moment. I don't know if you're still here, Wally, because I see there's only two people. If not, or if you watch this later, or if you are, or if anyone else cares, yeah, in fact, I'll bring that up later. So, I'm going to be doing a project where I'm going to be putting two species together. Awesome, Wally, thank you. Where I'm going to be putting these guys, Porcellio dilatatus, or canyon giants, or as normal people call them, giant canyon isopods, together with my spinny cornies. And I actually saw two mankai in here the other day, which again, I'm just super excited about. So while we're here, I'm going to not flip this entire thing, but I'll go through this a little bit. I'm fairly confident I'll find something here. But they generally hang out, and actually the leaf litter here. But I'm going to show the bin after that. I'm going to be putting these guys in with my spinny cornies. Go through that. And then I think I'll call it a day after that. Stay there, Moss. Oh, there's a big guy. He looks like, oh, he's molting, but he has some fabulous color. I hope that color came out. And these guys, awesome. At least four that I see. I don't see any mankai. I hope you guys got a good look at that one before he ran off. He was awesome. Now, actually, I'll slow down. So yeah, some canyon giants for you. They are just awesome looking. And the mankai were actually on top of here in that shredded wood. Like you can see how fine that is. And I actually put some of the Suprema Isopod chow in there, and obviously it's gone. So this piece of wood, I don't know how well, it's another piece that goes from here to about probably right here and goes down all the way to the bottom of the substrate. So again, I try to do that, especially for these guys, as I know from everything I've heard and everything now I've witnessed, they burrow a lot. But I'm just curious if there will be anything. Oh, the other one went about to the back. I don't know if you could catch him, but nice. Yes. Awesome. Man, that was great. I hope you guys got to see at least one of them when it came into focus. If not, I wholeheartedly apologize. In fact, I want to hit that with my hand really quick. Uh-oh. I'll go in. He just scurried off. I don't know if you can see him. Yep. Oh, this is great. I'm going to assume it's you guys watching that are all this good luck, so thank you for that. Oh, see those guys? Oh, here's that nice colored one again. And this one has some nice red color too. Hello again. I hope you just caught those mankai. Man, you guys are beautiful. Sorry I had to bother you though. I don't know if you can see that pale color and that it's what I got to get in one day. Again, I don't know how good it is in this stream, but can you, if you guys want to actually let him, because it's hard for me to look through the camera right now when I'm doing this. But I will say what I'm kind of doing right now in the moment is this is the bin of canyon giants or giant canyon isopods or Porcellio dilatatus. These are one part of my two that I'm going to be doing the project of housing two species together to hopefully A, cohabitate them, B, maybe have a long-term breeding project. So these are my canyon giants I'm going through, and caught a couple mankai, which is awesome. And these are actually what I also have in my leopard geckos, or not. I always say leopard because I had in another lifetime 4 leopard geckos at one time. Oh, there's a dead one, I think. Yep. And that's surprising. That's the first time I've actually had to witness that. Yeah, so I had 4 leopard geckos, and now I have a rescued African fat tail. And I just always say leopard gecko, but these guys are actually the first species I had that I kept because I got them for my African fat tail. I'm just trying to see if that's desiccation or something else. I always worry if it's a health thing. I know they come and go, but hopefully it just dried out. So while I'm here, actually, and I think I mentioned I generally don't mist most of my isopods. These guys are kind of an exception because generally speaking, they're not hanging out on the surface where I'm worried about misting them, and that's what some people try to avoid. You guys got to witness the trauma of my first fallen isopod. This is a nice leaf. A lot of different layers to it. Give it a quick look over, make sure nothing's too high or too close. And then I'm going to mist these guys, and I'm going to... if I were a mist bottle, I would be right there. Check. I don't think I missed any comments. Awesome. I'm just gonna kind of put this over just for a second. I don't want the lens to get any. And then as you are looking at it, I think anyway, the left side is actually the dry side where that one ended up drying out, and the right side is the moist side. All right, so close these guys off. I do have questions about ventilation. Now, actually, I'll do that while I'm here. Recommendations always. I assume they're doing well, but so this is the ventilation on these are my obviously Canyon Giants. Maybe I should have done this for the other bins, but for these guys specific, I don't have two. I normally will drill smaller holes. I may go back and do that, but there hasn't seemed to be a problem. I don't generally do, I didn't start doing cross ventilation. I'm doing it now. I don't generally worry about it because I don't stack it, but I just do it because it helps. It keeps the ventilation better, the air quality more pure. So I'm going to put these guys away, and let me know if you think I should do more for this one. Again, these guys don't have any other ventilation besides what you saw on top. I'll do that first. Hello, Crystal. I am so happy you are here. These are my spinnies, or my spinnicorns, or my Porcellio spinicornis. Taking a quick sip of my water. So these are part 2 of what is going to be that long-term breeding project with my Canyon Giants. These guys, if you get a fraction of the joy I get from what I'm about to do, you are incredibly lucky, because I get so much joy from it that even a fraction of it is going to be awesome, because these Mankai are just exploding. You can see them. In fact, I didn't even think about that, Wally. I just gave, oh, it's all gone. Oh, so I had Supreme Gecko Chow here and Isopod Chow here and here. This side was the veggie. I noticed these guys, and I'm paying attention to this in terms of husbandry. I had the veggie mix here, the protein mix here. Obviously they didn't seem to care long term because again, that was just this morning I put it. Holy cow. But there was the veggie mix here they were going after. When I closed the bin, it was they were all over it, but now I see they're all over this, which is awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Man, I want to get the macro lens out sometime. Sorry about this jump. Can you see that one Mankai right? Oh my gosh. They're everywhere. I mean, just if you look long enough, you'll see one or four. Oh my gosh. And they were crushing that potato the other day. I'm going to try and hit another one down there. Yeah, really. And they're going, I mean, as soon as they crush that, now they're going on to this one, but I want to try to see if there's anything. Yeah. So that's my red feeding rack. There was actually, no, they took that thing too. I had, in fact, after this, I hope I remember. Can someone try to maybe leave a comment, an actual comment, to put the video? I think I did a video and picture of it, because I just wanted to kind of see when I came back. I thought there would be some left, but those guys just took everything. But oh yes, in fact, I had it here, and this is gonna be sweet. Can you guys? I think my feed went down for a moment. I apologize. I blame Wally for talking about crack. But look at that. I love this wood. I really want to know what kind of wood that is. But this is the wood, again, I harvested my spinny cornies from. Yeah, apparently. I can. It is, I want to get better lighting eventually. I got so much stuff I need to do. For this. For the comment, if you could add for me to put the before and after pictures of what I had on that, just on that red rock, that, because there's another, I think, a little one hanging out now. Yep, there he goes. He sees me. He sees you guys. I right before I closed and sealed it back up, I took a picture, or maybe like, it may be like a 10 or 30-second video, whatever, but of just what was there before I sealed it up, and that couldn't have been more than 3 hours ago. Let me thank you, Crystal, for that. Let me throw this back up really quick so I can show you. So obviously they have, well, I'll go through, yeah. In fact, because I'm going to throw some leaves in there. One of the things I do, obviously, is leaf litter, which is their main diet with the substrate. And just another quick thank you to Russ. These are his leaves. Russ at Aquarimax. And these are from Stephanie Kreidler at Kreidler's Critters. There. This piece of wood, the Mankai love too. In fact, just for a little bit of context, that wood I was just showing you here, if I were to flip it, I don't even need to disturb them actually. Where are you? Of course, I only have the biggest piece in the world. This piece of wood is that, but I say it's like a brain in that this side is very smooth, and what I do notice is, and actually what I don't know if these are worms, termites, or what, the little mankai will be literally in here in the, I'm sorry, I'm not showing you, in here in these grooves, but the adults love this side of it because it gives more surface area for the actual area. And I was thinking about this in terms of a lot of the Mediterranean species, that this would be beneficial for them for the two aspects, in that it's relatively concave on this side, and the smaller mankai like it, but for the adults, they prefer their space, their own individual areas, and this, because it's concave, or I'm sorry, because it's rough like that, gives that additional space where they can be separated, have their little nooks and crannies. And then I got to go through my bin after that. But so there's the leaf litter, and then from my good friend Wally. Oh, I want to, in the zebra video that I shot recently, it's a time lapse, but you can see them pull one of these down through that wood. I meant to mention that while I had the zebras out for Wally, but you can see them pull it down into the hole that I mentioned I didn't see there, and it was fascinating in the time lapse. You can just see them slowly pull it over and into there. It's kind of neat. And then I do that sparingly. Same with these, as if they don't eat these entirely very soon, about a day and a half. They can mold over, or the smell is very strong. And I just noticed it because the first thing I do when I open my bins is take a big old whiff, and it can be very different. Yeah, that was so fascinating to see. Um, then I'm experimenting a lot with these. And as I mentioned, like with these guys, seeing, I know certain species are more protein hungry and all that, but I know some are not as well explored, documented, worked with, or whatever terms you want to use. So that's why I like to, again, see those experiments and see for, I mean, I'm curious, just I'm the kind of person who because for example, I noticed some of the the mankai here were on the more protein hungry side of it, which I thought was kind of neat. But I'm looking for just little dietary things like that. So there is that I feed them. I do give them, I think in the video, in fact, the mankai video, I fed them potatoes and they went crazy. These guys specifically went crazy for them. A lot of things are hit and miss. My Gestroy or my Wolverine isopods are my most finicky eaters. I never see them eat. They don't seem to touch anything aside from the isopod chow and rapashi. Like they seem to have a propensity to take that powdered stuff over anything else. I can't even hardly seem to get them to take carrots, potatoes, or cucumbers. So I'm trying to crack that code with them. This is another bin of spinny cornies, my bigger bin. I just love this piece of moss that goes, there's, should I? No, I'm not going to mess up too much in that. See, I'm glad you put that, naturalist, because I see a lot of people saying they feed pumpkin, but I've never seen anyone mention seeds, and that always made me curious because I had an abundance of seed, but I didn't have pumpkins at the time. And Crystal, mine, I'll try to recall, my zebras will eat carrots. I hope that doesn't happen too much to you. I think you said you had a little bit more kind of a severe weather, I thought, recently, or on that last stream. I don't know if you guys can see this little guy. I'm not sure how well those come out. But I hope everything's good with you. This bin I don't mess with. In fact, I'm going to leave this one. This will be our little one for the next stream. But I have seen quite a bit of mankai in here. They love this mossy area, and I do drip onto here, but yeah. Oh, if they germinate, that wouldn't be bad. It's just more food for the isopods, right? Yeah, this guy's zooming around. One thing I do enjoy about this is that I'm starting to get, again, I had that scare with my clowns and dwarf whites. And at that point, every little mankai, my heart stopped thinking, oh my God, is it another dwarf white? So much so I kind of started to think negatively of dwarf whites and felt bad. And if any of you don't know, I'm a science fiction and fantasy nerd. And I hate. Oh, and again, it's not little people, it's not short people, not real dwarves, but I don't even call them. I call them dwarfs from sci-fi and fantasy. If you are a little person who lives to be about 400 years old, like a dwarf, then I may have words with you, but I don't like them. So yeah, I don't like dwarf whites. This is the bin that is going to be my project for my cohab long-term Porcellio dilatatus and Porcellio spinicornis. So, sorry, just reading up on the comments. It is deep. I like this bin, and I intend to add to it. Let me move this up really quick. What size is it? This is a 25 quart. It is 11 inches tall. So, sorry, I wanted to read all that before I lifted it because it's kind of. So I hope you can see how I tried to do layers and I use the term microcosms. Russ at Aquarimax used the term microenvironments. So I can drip water down into those to make certain levels, different humidity levels within. I'm gonna kind of put this down and pick back up in a sec. Sorry, this one's heavier than the others. Move that water. So this is the moist side. I don't know, can't point, but there's that stick and there's another one there that again I use to help funnel water down a little bit easier. Again, more layers. I'm going to put it down and then switch that other side. I hope you guys can kind of see, and it's in hindsight I would have done this in a completely 100% clear container, but hindsight being what it is, I can't. So this is the third side. Again, see that piece of wood goes diagonally to the left and to the moist side. Or actually, that is away from the moist side. And then the final dry side, which is the most plain, is that. But even there, you can see the layering that goes down. Take care, Crystal. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for spending some time with us. And then, and I will be sure to be stopping by also. I think you had a new Isopod video now that I'm thinking about it. Oh no, it was your plants? Goodness gracious, I'm behind in my content. Trying to move this over just a little for that light. But I kind of just I have this seated right. No, I don't want to do that all right now. I think maybe in my next stream, maybe I'll do that. In my next stream, I will start to seed this. I do have springtails in here only. I think that'll be a nice, fun project. If you guys do have any ideas for what you would like to see in my streams in the future, let me know. One thing my intent was to originally do this as a time where I put a bin together. Where did I put this lid? And I want to, but I used the substrate that I had to put together those two bins I started with because I need to get the bioactivity up for that zebra project. But sadly, this is all the substrate I have. So, and I've been just kind of using it to fill what I had where I needed to. I think that's about it. Because this has been, over an hour. Wow. Thank you for, you gluttons for punishment. I don't know why you guys are here. Maybe you lost a bet. But thank you for hanging out. If do you want to see anything, if there are any, if there are a few of you hanging out, I talk too fast. I'm very excited about doing these things. If any of you wanted to see anything, let me know. But I did want to show one other thing. This is just neat. Thank you so much, Wally, and thank you for being here most of all. This is just sphagnum moss that I'm propagating myself. I put this in a jar September or October. And as you can see, it's finally starting to propagate itself. I'm very excited about that. Ooh, the rock just went. That's all right, though. And I do want to actually, if there's anyone here, I don't know, but if not, I'm going to show it off to myself. In my videos, I've been showing some of the mosses I've been collecting, but I mean in the capacity of while I'm out on my walks. And these are some of it. I'm on my last leg of it because I try to put some of this into my Isopod bins, but the this ignore, because this is just terrarium moss, as is this. So everything else from here, 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 and here is wild caught moss. And I'm actually trying to you see some green there that I'm snipping off, trying to propagate slowly. And I wish, see, I just love that because again, I haven't even opened this, but just seeing those little water beads is awesome. Sometimes the view doesn't do it justice, but this is something I keep this also for my vivariums. Oh, okay, two of you are still here. Sorry, I didn't thought I was talking to myself. In fact, if there are two of you suckers still here, just joking by the way, obviously. Um, this is kind of actually two things. If I can find where I put them, I moved everything around last minute to make room for this. This was that I did this for my cousin. She lives in a home where she doesn't have much room and can't take care of stuff, so I wanted to make something very minimal for her that will grow over time and just be fun to look at. Um, so these are some of the little things I do, and the other one I did, put that there. I had this, I already showed this one, so I'll just throw it back here. One of the first videos I did when I started doing all of this stuff, I'll have to read that thumb in a moment, or that comment. This one is my favorite because this one me and my youngest daughter did together. It's one of the first videos, not that I have on this channel, but when I went to doing my Isopod, this kind of stuff, me and my daughter put this together, and she doesn't understand how much that means to me. So I don't have any isopods in here yet. I'm debating it, but as it's it's not 100% sealed. There's just, you can see the bag sticking out with like 4 or 5 little pinholes poked in it for a minimum amount of ventilation with this lid on top. But I just love this thing. Again, that's more of the moss I pulled from outside. That wood this little piece right here is the wood I harvested. This is a nice round piece of cork bark. That's more of my moss. Yeah, that was a trip. I'm hoping to get my girls into some of this stuff without pushing them too hard or putting a metaphorical gun to their head. So hopefully in time they can do that. Oh, and actually, gosh, you suckers are still here. I don't know why you do this to yourself. So now I'm going to show you my wood. I went on my walk yesterday. Straight out of the oven. Wood. It's what's for dinner. This is the stuff I got yesterday. Look at that beautiful green. I only put these in a little bit. I just wanted to dry it out. And this wood, it's falling apart in my fingers. Man. I'm going to either put this, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I should or not. Yeah. In fact, I want to read, there was at least 1 or maybe 2 comments that I ignored like a bonehead. You know, naturalist, I've never heard the term black thumb, but I have it, which is, I got a red earth star plant to put in with my African fat tail, and I can't keep it alive enough to put in there. It's already dying. I've been trying to get this. But I do need one thing I do need to get. Again, it's just, it costs money. I want to get a grow light. I don't even know what they're called, but they're plants lights. But yeah, these, oh my gosh. Again, it was this all started with these. This is one piece, and this is what was, these 2 pieces were laying on across branches yesterday on my walk, and they drew my attention, and I went and grabbed this piece, and then maybe the opposite. Maybe I grabbed this piece, but my point is I grabbed one piece, came back in, got all my camera stuff, and did that whole project yesterday of going out to get the rest of this wood that it just, again, it's silly in my life how stuff like that happens. I always say, just, I have a saying, I go out and see what you see. And yesterday was just amazing in that regard. Yeah, I can't keep anything alive, and I think maybe that's why I like isopods. In fact, like I say, that canyon giant that I saw that was desiccated was the first time I've seen that. Like, I've had a couple dead upon delivery, or like maybe the next day, but not anything where I just opened out of nowhere like that. Should I get rid of that? I just noticed that. I don't know if that's something burned from the oven from contacting the thing, or if that's something like bad mold. Let me know what you think. Man, this is, I say, I don't, I'm not an isopod. I almost want to take a bite out of these. I'm also, and the main reason I wanted to get more of it was because I didn't know this would be amazing, not only for isopods, but for my vivariums. Because again, like you were mentioning, it's so vivid and stands out that I didn't want to not get some for my isopods, but I didn't not want to get some for myself too, and that I ended up here. So yeah, these are all kind of my little projects going on. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm gonna take another sip of water really quick. I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. I have nothing to do. At some point, I will have to eat. I don't like to keep people here, but I'm socially isolated, so I enjoy hanging out in any capacity. So I don't want you all to think that's not the case. And if you want, I can. If you all are keen on hanging out, I could go through a couple of my other bins if you want. Let me know. In fact, I got 2 bins that are not isopods if you want me to look at that. I understand. Well, yeah, I'm surprised you guys are here this long. So, again, I, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for hanging out. In fact, I'm very excited for Tuesday. Tuesday's the 13th day, right? Was that because I didn't see like, I know during the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas you had the where they were basically out before. I forget what they're called, but we put them out in advance. So I haven't seen the 13th day one yet, and I'm worried. But I think it's next Tuesday, last I heard. And I don't even know what the prizes are. I just like hanging out. I'll do the easy one first. Oh, in fact, I gotta go through this eventually. Perfect. I thought so. Thank you very much. And I'll work on that. Not that I have the biggest audience, but I try to promote you when I can. And take care, Wally. Thank you again. So these are, I used to call them Dubai roaches because I've been to Dubai a couple times, dubia roaches. And this is a complete accident project. I got them for my fat tail for stripe when they were out of crickets. They gave me too many and they were too large. And again, I don't have a social network, so I had nothing to do with them and just kept them. This is a big boy right here. He's about that size. If that's him or her, I don't know. I think it's a her. I think the males have wings, I thought I heard or read somewhere. And I put a couple more in here this week. There's a little guy. Because again, the place was out of crickets, and I just figured I'd buy some, fed some, and put some in here. I don't know how well. Big old roach butt. These guys fascinate me. You think, okay, I'm going, if you have any thoughts on that, I'm debating. I do want to. I'm just not sure about them. And I tend to, if I'm not positive, be very conservative and slow with trying new things. So this is the extent of my experiment so far. But yes is my answer. I don't think I'm there right now. I don't know much about them. What I do know about them is basically in regards to them as feeders. So maybe we could talk about that, or if you know anything or whatever, let me know. Not much to see from here, but I want to real quick. Excuse me. Of all of my close that oven. Of all of my dudes, these guys have the craziest feeding response. That's a little larger than I want. That's a little larger than I want. That'll work. I'll leave that there while I'm doing this. I see. Yeah, you see it already, Daddy. I don't mean this the wrong way, but cockroaches, they're revolting to me, and I'm trying to get over that. I grew up poor and had issues with I don't like flies and I don't like roaches, but I'm at least to the point now. I'm not disgusted just in general. It's just I don't want them touching me, and maybe even that'll change. But yeah, yeah, you smell it. I don't know if you can see that guy coming out. Um, that's rad. I say that's the thing I love most about these guys. I think they would eat in my hand. I don't know if that's common for roaches or whatever, but this is my next little project. I'm trying to leave that out so you can actually still see that. In fact, let me see, maybe. And yeah, they don't care if the lights are on it. So I'm my moss. And you saw that flat square bin that I had my moss in there. I had a second one, but I used it. I'm gonna read that before it goes away. Exactly. Just knowing it helps. Seeing other people doing it like it's not, something, but it helps a lot. And I think I mentioned to you in that live stream earlier, like, and specifically with Russ, and while he's not here now, but we're just watching other people do these things. I think it's Clint's Reptiles is another good one, in that regard. Things I'm not used to. But so in my other moss bin, it's stunning to me because I froze it, I soaked it. I mean, I'm sorry, I brought it in, I soaked it, cleaned it all out, let it soak in a bag, and then I froze it and unfroze it, put it just like you saw in that other bin. I had the two of them, and a couple weeks later, I look in the one, and you can see, hopefully, those little guys. And so now this became another project. I set this up more or less the same way they seem to be enjoying it in the bin. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna go get a piece of moss and throw it in here in terms of the moss that was actually in here. I can't believe I didn't do that. I have a couple springtails in there, but not too many. And I keep the sphagnum moss. I'm seeing if I need to get a bigger container soon. The sphagnum moss is always moist, and I don't do anything but maybe a little bit of misting on that side by accident. Got a little piece of that carrot stuff I think that is actually cricket gut feed. Feed them fish flakes every once in a while. And again, I haven't been looking at comments like a dodo again because I'm trying to look at this a little. But yeah, I don't know how many 4 or 5, but I'm sure I don't see them all. And I don't know how they breed or anything like that. Yeah, these are the wild ones that were in my other moss bin. If you didn't hear any of that, let me know because I won't bore you if you did. But if you're saying you missed it, I'll explain the context of it. Just a silly little story before I go. These guys, I'm surprised they love fish flakes as much as they do. Sorry about the shaking. I'm trying to wheel this down. And it's fighting me. I think they're called black house crickets or something, at least in the trade. But yeah, these guys are a fun little project. Yeah, I'm surprised. You know what? The same thing with springtails. Uh, uh, the more again you slow down and look at things, the more interesting they get. And it was very similar with these guys because like when they were very small, the probably the size of large dwarf whites. I forgot those roaches were there till they started moving that leaf. It's funny watching them when I set it up. They can't get it and they try to do everything but come to the surface and then they eventually come out. But yeah, springtails are like that. Crickets too. Just it's fascinating to me. The things they do. It's just how life can be. It's crazy. I mean, I say springtails look like I can't say the word now because Wally almost got us in trouble. No, but they look like the little I said they look like kids fighting over spilled candy, but not really fighting over it, just scurrying to get it all right now as quick as they can. So they're not really fighting, just it's a mad scoop to get it. And that's what they're always slapping each other, jumping, eating. And these crickets are very much like that, I noticed. I'm going to move that. I've been trying to see if they'll eat off this. This is a now dried out piece of potato. I'll throw it there. They haven't come out yet. They can smell it or whatever they do to sense it because they're buzzing around. I'm surprised at it. Just shocks me sometimes how how strong those cockroaches are. I just see them moving big chunks of wood and rock and like it's nothing. That kind of surprised me. Yeah, I'm curious. I hope these crickets will start breeding. In fact, now that you mentioned that earlier, Rhode Island, I do have an old small, like I mentioned, my African fat tail's a rescue, and the tank she came in had a little square, maybe like I'm assuming like 4 by 4 or 5 by 5 heat pad that I didn't know how to get off, so I just kind of peeled it back. And I want to look into, I don't know if I broke it or if that would work or if I should toss it, but I may look into doing that for these. But again, I would look at for the roaches rehoming them completely. Like I say, that I put them in that because it's what I had, and I know they it's not a big thing if they're drier like that, so it's not a big deal that it has that open lid that you normally wouldn't want to really, generally speaking, put isopods with. And then so I took out some of the moss from this and put it in that vivarium I made for my cousin Sherry, but I also have just one more. Ugh. This again, I'm doing my own experimenting. I didn't even know those were a thing. Red-headed. I thought you said, is it bush crickets? So this is my other. Again, just this one's a little different from the other one. Oops, try to keep it in the camera. It's a bigger jar. Not that that's the big deal, but this one has I tried this one with charcoal in the bottom, and the other they seem to be growing kind of the same. I may do the charcoal and just a little, you know, a little base of it in all of them just to help. Doesn't seem like it needed it, and so I'd rather just do a little bit to make sure it can do its cleaning stuff. All right, Rode. I think I'm going to be wrapping up. I don't know if you have anything else, any other questions while I'm here. I think I pretty much pulled out all my goodies. Well, I didn't pull out the clowns or anything. I actually saw a couple one Mankai specific in my clowns. So I was excited about that, especially after my dwarf white incident. I am surprised, actually. Surprised they haven't came out for it yet. Let's see. You guys are camera shy all of a sudden. Surprised my phone, by the way, may be dying soon. I didn't realize I was streaming this whole time. Yeah, you can't eat it through the wood. And like you were saying about how fascinating crickets can be, again, in spite of myself, these guys fascinate me. Sorry, it's shaky. I'm holding it. Yeah, 6 months ago, this would have just been gross. I wouldn't have been able to be fascinated watching this. If this was just a little, let me see, I'm curious. There we go, that's better, right? Ah, no. I don't know why it switched like that. Come on. Hope that's decent. I know it's probably not clear or focused, but no, not at all. Is that better? But yeah, exactly. They are freaking rad, man. Again, I never would have thought I'd be saying that about a roach. I actually just out of curiosity now, I want to look at those. What were they? Red-headed bush crickets? Eventually, I want to set up where I could just do things like this and just leave my live stream going, for lack of better terms, and just go about my day. In fact, my phone's telling me now it's at 15%. So I got about 1 minute before I kind of need to get off. Let's see what's going on. See a bunch of other guys buzzing around. I don't know what he's so scared about. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. If anyone's there, I'm going to give you a moment to maybe say goodbye. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take care of the ones you love and go easy. You too, naturalist. Take care. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. I hope this was fun. I'm going to give it 1 minute, and that'll be 1 hour and 35 minutes. So about 50 more seconds. It's the final countdown. Maybe that will coax out the other roaches.